Hi everyone, happy spring equinox. My name is Michelle Chua. Welcome to Yoga Basics, where we slow things down and we break down particular types of postures and breath work for beginners. So grab 2 yoga blocks, a strap, and you may want to have a pillow or a folded blanket to sit on that's comfortable. And we'll begin in any way that you can. Bring the legs out in front of you and sit with your pelvis elevated on your pillow or folded blanket. And as you're sitting towards the front edge of that, allow your pelvis to slightly tilt forward as you then gently activate your belly or draw it in towards the spine and lift it up so that you can sit up a little taller. Allow the knees to fall open more easily, whether you're bringing the shins to cross like this or splaying the thighs wider. And then take a moment to look around your space. One way to regulate our nervous systems to a state of calm is through visual orienting. So as you look around your space, take in the colors and forms and textures that attract your eyes, that soothe your eyes. So veer away from any clutter and stuff like that. So on this equinox, I'm going to read an excerpt from the Yoga Almanac, a book written by Lizette Cherison and Andrea Rice. Though spring encompasses the beginning of the astrological calendar and serves as the starting point, it's for the new year, it serves as a starting point for actually a lot of cultures, like the Persian culture celebrates the spring equinox as the new year. It's a phase of renewal, apt for planting the seeds of intention from the start of a new calendar year that we wish to nurture and watch blossom. The lively energy of spring inspires us to seek new beginnings, launch new endeavors, and lay the foundation for what we seek or desire to cultivate in our lives. And we might find ourselves during this time pulling out or clearing out clutter and flinging open the windows, although here in LA it's still a little bit cool. We integrate the introspective wisdom of winter's contemplation, and spring marries that darkness with rays of light that illuminate the very landscape of the soul. Spring is a season for considering our own metaphorical rebirth as we shed our winter layers and find equilibrium between the shadows of colder months behind us and the blazing spirit of what is yet to come. So today I want to talk about sankalpa, which means intention. And I often, before yoga practice, ask you to set an intention. What does that actually mean? And how do you go about doing it personally, meaningfully, and effectively? Well, it's a way to set the tone and to make a conscious turning point from whatever you were doing just before now to a focused practice of, okay, I'm connecting my mind, my body, my breath, my spirit, my awareness towards what it is that I want to invite into my experience. And so setting intention is setting your point of reference for what you want to attract. And then how do we do it meaningfully? Well, think about aspects in your life right now, especially as we're entering spring, as we're turning seasons or shifting to a new season. That's another opportune time to decide what you're ready to release and ready to invite into any aspect of your life, or to renew. Maybe it's not a change, it's just an emphasis on something you're already creating. So call to mind anything in your life right now that is really calling your attention. Could be work life, could be home life, your relationship to your body, your relationship to yourself. Is there anything that you would like to bring more loving attention to? And then from that standpoint, what does that look like? What does giving that aspect of your life more loving attention look like? Is there a specific feeling tone that you would like to invite into that aspect of your life, like clarity or courage, if you're at crossroads making a decision about something? So as you now zoom into that feeling tone, maybe close your eyes and imagine how it would look like to bring that feeling into that aspect of your life. to welcome more well-being into that area, or success, joy. And as you imagine that, also acknowledging where you are right now and finding the blessings that you are already enjoying. So even before setting an intention, let me backtrack a bit, coming into a state of mind, a state of heart in which we are connected to abundance. We're not coming from a place of lack, which can actually be disempowering. So what is something you appreciate about the seasons past, or today, or right now? And as you practice gratitude by listing things that you appreciate, you begin to shift your vibration to something a bit more uplifted and empowered. And then from there, define for yourself what you are creating stepping forward, setting your intention or your sankalpa. You might voice this out loud or mentally as a short phrase or a sentence, focusing on positive affirmation, present tense, and allowing yourself to feel how that already exists, even as a seed in your life right now. Feel it as you breathe in a little deeper. Exhaling maybe through the mouth. Inhaling a little slower. Cultivating that energy, that feeling tone of your intention as you breathe. So that as you begin to move into the physical practice, you bring that feeling tone into how it will feel like to move as if you already knew that this intention is in manifestation, in fruition. Not in the distant future, but in the present moment. And then as a way of allowing the magic of life to flow and trusting it, as well as not clinging to the ego self, I invite you to offer up your efforts today. So having set an intention, then we let go and we let life, let it manifest as it will. So call to mind somebody that you could dedicate today's practice to, somebody you care about, or a community or a cause. And then setting our intentions, a ritual way of opening the practice space is by chanting Om, sending out the vibration and also feeling it resonate within. So let's chant together 3 Oms. Inhale deeply. Bowing in towards your heart center, acknowledging that source, that creative flow, all of that stems from within. Let's begin to use the breath to calm our nervous system and steady our mental focus, uniting body and mind in the present moment by practicing a technique called Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breathing. If you're sitting cross-legged, since we're going to sit a little bit longer, you might switch the shin that's forward or on top, just to even out the stretch in your hips here. And as you're sitting tall and relaxed, bring your hands to the left and right walls of your rib cage and breathe in a little deeper, gently expanding both the left and right sides. Focusing on even expansion on both sides, and then exhaling, feeling the muscles between the ribs relax. Now keep doing this as you close the lips And while breathing through the nose, deepen the breath and create a very soft, whispering sound as you breathe by gently narrowing or softly constricting the back of your throat. It's almost like the sound you would make if you were fogging a mirror, like this. But the lips are closed. So that sound becomes even gentler and more subtle. So now as we continue to breathe, let's consciously balance the inhale, which is energizing, with the exhale, which is relaxing and grounding. By counting to 5 as you breathe in and counting to 5 as you breathe out without holding the breath at either end, but instead finding a smooth transition between inhales and exhales. So empty the breath that you're on, then inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep counting a couple more rounds on your own and focus on that even expansion into left and right walls of your rib cage. Listen to the sound of your breath and allow the sound of it to soothe your mind, which then in turn will help to relax your body as you move. So that the way you're breathing right now, that calm and steadiness, will transfer into how you'll move your physical body. So keep that audible breath rhythm going nice and slow through most of this physical yoga practice, this asana. And we're going to move to that pace in a moment. So with that, place your left fingertips as I mirror you on the ground just to the left side of your left hip and raise your right arm up, rolling the tricep, which is the outer upper arm forward so that we can broaden across the top of the right shoulder. Draw the shoulders down, press your 2 sitting bones at the bottom of your pelvis downward as you inhale to lift up from the bottom of your spine through the back of your skull. As you exhale, begin to side bend to your left. Pause as you inhale, root both of your hips down and lift the spine from the hips. Then exhale, continue to side bend. And for about 3 more breaths, continue inhaling to root down and lengthen and exhaling to side bend further if that's available. You might be walking the left hand further away. You might be lowering the left elbow down or none of that. Hugging in the front ribs in this lateral extension or side bend of the spine. We're getting ready for spinal twists, which is what we're going to break down today. So inhale, come on up. And exhale the right fingertips down outside the right hip. Raise the left arm, wrap the tricep forward, draw the shoulders and hips down, and breathe in to sit up a little taller. Exhale, start to side bend to your right. Inhale, press the hips down and lift the spine. Exhale, continue to side bend. So keep going about 3 more breaths. So spinal twists have a lot of health benefits, such as releasing tension along the muscles along the spine, like the lower back or different parts of the back, as well as gently stimulating the organs of your digestion as we sort of wring out the area of the abdomen. On your next inhale, come all the way up and then relax. So now let's get into our first spinal twist. Extend your left leg forward straight ahead and flex the foot, which means curl the toes back towards your left shin. Step the right foot on the floor just in front of your right hip, holding onto that shin with both hands. Again, press your 2 sitting bones down and lengthen your spine. Relax the shoulders, broaden the chest. Place the right fingertips on the ground behind your pelvis. And as you press the pelvis down, raise the left arm and inhale, lengthen the spine again a little bit more. Exhale while keeping the pelvis still, rotate your rib cage to the right side and lower your left hand to hold your right shin. Again, press the pelvis down, inhale, sit up a little taller, keep relaxing the shoulders. And as you keep the pelvis still, exhale, continue to spin your rib cage like it's a globe spinning on the axis of your spine. And just like that, the in-breath to ground and lengthen, the out-breath to twist. Take it for maybe 3 more breaths. Now, if you can hook the left elbow outside of your right thigh without shrugging your shoulders and making it more difficult to breathe or sit tall, then you might add that leverage. Listen to the sound of one more cycle of breath. So this is a seated spinal twist. When we're twisting, we want to focus on twisting right beneath your lowest ribs and keeping the pelvis still if you're in a seated or upright twist. And then exhale to unwind. Let's straighten the right leg forward and flex the right foot. Step the left foot on the ground in front of the left hip and hold on to that shin with both hands for a moment as you're rooting the 2 sitting bones down, relaxing the shoulders. Lift through the back of your skull. Place the left fingertips on the ground behind your pelvis, raise your right arm, and every part of your body touching the surface below, press down with to inhale, lengthen upward. Then right across your waistline, exhale, start to twist to the left. Lower your right hand to hold your left leg. And again, root down to rise as you breathe in. Continue to turn the rib cage as you breathe out. And if you can do so without inhibiting your breath or preventing an upright spine, hook the right elbow outside of your left thigh and keep going. So as we stabilize the pelvis, if you're in a seated or standing twist, not rotating there, but instead twisting at your waist, you're helping to stabilize your lower back, the area that's not meant to be twisting. Now, this principle is the same, but it looks different when we're lying down. And I'll talk about that later in the end when we practice supine or lying down twists. At the end of this exhale, unwind your spine. And let's straighten the legs forward. Take your strap. We're going to add a gentle version of seated forward fold. The combination of stretching the torso, like the side bends and even the front, like back bends, and then twisting and then folding is an effective combination for stimulating digestion. We're doing some spring cleaning here internally and energetically. So as you place the strap around the balls of your feet, press them into the strap, like you're kicking the strap away, but at the same time, spread the toes towards you, still flexing the feet. Give yourself enough slack as you hold the strap so that you're able to roll your shoulders back and down and still sit up tall, where you can imagine you're holding an apple here between your chin and chest, keeping that as we start to fold. Again, press your sitting bones down and inhale, lift through the center of your spine. Keep the shoulders relaxed and hinging from your hips, but not your neck. Exhale, start to fold just a little bit. Pause as you breathe in and firm down through the hips, lengthening the spine forward. Exhale, hinge forward another little bit. And just like that, breath by breath, exploring just how far you can gently go, as we haven't done much to warm up, so you're not trying to push yourself to your edge, nor are we ever really trying to push in yoga, right? We're breathing through and listening to the body respond in the present moment and honoring that. On your next inhale, press down through the hips and begin to lift your chest, slowly rising up. Put the strap aside near the front of your mat, and let's come down onto hands and knees. We're going to start to move the spine and flexion and extension in what's called cat-cow pose. So spread your fingers flat with your index fingers either pointing straight ahead or slightly turned out. As you stack your shoulders right above your wrists, step your knees a couple inches behind your hips, giving the torso a little more room to move around. Initiate the movement with the breath. Remember that practice? So begin to inhale and continue as you glide your chest through your upper arms. Roll your shoulders behind you and down so that when you lift the chest, look up in cow pose, you finish the top of the breath. Start to exhale as you continue contracting your belly, slowly rounding your back and dropping your head so that at the end of cat pose, you have finished the exhale. Again, inhale, glide your chest forward, synchronize with lifting the heart up, cow pose. Exhale, follow with contracting your belly and doming your back. Now on your own, take another 2 cycles of cat-cow pose to your breath pace. The Sanskrit word for this posture is Bitalasana. Now, when you finish this exhalation, relax to a neutral spine. And as you're spreading your fingers flat, especially root down through the base of your thumbs and index fingers. And imagine you have suction cups underneath the tips of each finger as well. So root down through there. Now, as you're looking ahead of the thumbs, spin your triceps, these outer sides of your upper arms, towards your rear wall so that you can feel your shoulder blades protract or spread wider apart as you lengthen your neck by pressing the shoulder blades down the back. Now keep doing those things to the shoulder blades as you tuck your toes, and with bent knees, lift your hips as high and far back as you can. Imagine I'm standing at the rear of your mat, lovingly pulling your hips towards your rear wall and ceiling as you completely drop your skull and maybe shake the head out a few times to relax the neck. Feel the breath, consciously slowing it down and balancing it out as you bend your right knee deeply and drop the left heel. Swivel the hips to your right side like you're dancing the twist. Bend the left knee deeply, straighten the right leg, and swivel the hips to the left. Drop the right heel. Inhale, bend the right knee, swivel the hips to the right, drop the left heel. Exhale, bend the left knee, swivel the hips to the left, drop the right heel. And then come back through center, bend both knees generously, lift the hips as high and back as you can, relax the neck, breathe. If you get tired, put the knees down and rest. And again, spin your triceps towards the floor, spread the shoulder blades apart, lift the shoulder blades away from the neck, and now engage your abdomen while pressing the top front of your thigh bones back, sinking your heels closer and closer to the ground, even if they don't touch it. Now land your eyes on one focal point on the floor towards the feet, and listen to 2 more cycles of breath here in downward facing dog, or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's take a vinyasa. Inhale, come forward into kneeling plank pose. So place the knees down right under your hips. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Ashtangasana. As you exhale, bend the elbows back and start to lower your chest to the ground. Slide the shoulders away from the neck. Hug the elbows to the ribs. Stick the tailbone up and gazing forward, lower your chin and slither forward onto your belly. Keep the hands where they are so that when you slither, you will arrive at the heels of the palms alongside your floating ribs, your lowest ribs. With your elbows bent right on top of the wrists, hug the elbows towards your sides. Spreading your toes firm down through the tops of your feet and actively stretch your legs long behind you. Keep the feet down and inhale to a light cobra, rolling the shoulders behind you. Look on the ground ahead. Bhujangasana. Exhale, press up to hands and knees, tuck your toes, and lift your hips back to downward facing. Pause for 3 breaths. Empty your 3rd exhalation, and on empty, walk up to the front of your mat into a standing forward fold. Feet apart, hips distance parallel. Bend your knees so that you can really just relax your neck and tilt your weight as far forward as you can balance here. Either place your fingertips on your thighs, 2 blocks in front of your feet, or the ground itself. And so that as you press firmly with the fingertips, you can traction as you inhale to lengthen your spine forward, parallel to the floor. Then exhale, keep leaning forward and bow towards your legs again. One more time, press down with the fingertips. Inhale, stretch the top of your head forward into half forward fold. or Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. This time, press down with your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward and rise, reaching the arms overhead. Relax the shoulders down and look up in Urdhva Hastasana. As you exhale, bring your hands in prayer, tracing your thumbs down the center of your body to your heart. Standing in mountain pose in Padasana. Pause a moment. Remember your intention you set for this practice. Breathing it in, feel it in existence. So let's move with that feeling as we follow the breath in Sun Salutation A, Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, gaze up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, feel free to bend the knees, lengthen your spine as you bow from your hips. Press your fingertips on your legs, blocks or the floor. Inhale, lengthen forward to Ardha Uttanasana. Plant your hands and knees on the ground in kneeling plank, and exhale, come forward, lower your chest and chin, hug the elbows to your sides. Slither forward and inhale to Cobra, rooting down through the tops of your feet. Exhale, press up and lift your pelvis back to downward facing dog. Let's practice stillness for 3 deep breaths. And by steadying your gaze, your drishti on one spot, help to steady your mind. When you finish the 3rd exhale, walk to the front of your mat into your forward fold, Uttanasana. Press down with your hands. Inhale to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Press down with your feet. Inhale, rise to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands together at your heart. 2 more times. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, press to lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to kneeling plank, or this time straighten the legs. Lift the belly in and exhale, glide forward. Bend the elbows back so they hug your side ribs. Slowly lower to the floor. Press the tops of your feet down. Inhale to Cobra. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips, downward facing dog. Again, cultivate stillness, steady your gaze. 3 breaths, rebalancing in and out. When you finish the 3rd exhale, walk to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana, using your hands to press down. Exhale, forward fold. Rooting down, inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to your heart, Padasana. 1 more time. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Press with your hands. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to kneeling plank or legs straight, and exhale, lower knees, chest, or glide forward and bend the elbows back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Cobra, root down through the tops of your feet. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause for 3 breaths. Steady gaze. Listen to your breath, rebalancing it. Bring your feet together in downward facing dog. Then inhale, raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the right knee and rotate your right thigh open. Inhale, draw the left hip back. And as you exhale, softly step the right foot forward right between your hands. Spin the left heel down and align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Press down to your feet and inhale, cartwheel your arms apart to rise into Warrior Two. Now, as you're bending your right knee, stack it just above the right heel. And spin your right outer hip and glute underneath your body enough so that the middle of your right kneecap points out towards your right pinky toe. Now maintain that as you firm in the top of your left thigh bone and root the outer edge of the left foot firmly down. Centering your spine as vertically upright between your feet as you open the arms wide. Relax the shoulders down and steady your gaze just past your right fingertips. Tuning into 3 more deep breaths in Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Now from here, lower your hands to frame your right ankle, lower your left knee, and step your right foot another 4 or 5 inches to the right until your legs are hips width apart. Place a block just on the left side of your front ankle. Press down onto the top of your right thigh to rise into a kneeling lunge. So first, make sure that left hip is right on top of left knee is right on top of right ankle, legs are hips distance. Now that you have your base, the foundation of your architecture pose set up, let's engage the muscles that support that alignment. So without moving your legs visibly, energetically drag them towards each other and lift your pelvic floor. You should feel the leg muscles engage a little more, your lower belly engage some more. And then raising your arms with your right hand, take hold of your left wrist. Relax the shoulders down. Keep that scissoring action in your legs as you breathe in to lift the spine taller. Without moving the legs, exhale, start to side bend to your right. We're preparing to twist by first stretching the torso a bit more. So we have something to wring out. Inhale, lengthen the spine like we did when we were sitting in the beginning, and exhale, continue to side bend if that's available. 3 more breaths. Making sure your right foot stays firmly still. That really helps with the balance here. So inhale, lift the spine vertically. And now place your right hand to cup the very top of your right thigh. So as you're pressing that down, you're helping to keep your 2 hips leveled in height and stabilizing your lower spine. Remember, we're not twisting at the pelvis, we're twisting at your waist. So as you keep rooting that right leg still, making sure that right knee stays facing forward, raise your left arm and inhale, stretch your spine forward to trace the midline of your mat. Now again, keep the pelvis still, lower the left hand on a block or the floor directly under your left shoulder. And begin to turn your chest to the right. So remember, we're spinning the rib cage like it's a globe. Draw the shoulder blades down your back and inhale, continue to stretch through the crown of your head towards the front of your room. Keep this right leg solid, the pelvis still, and continue to turn the chest. Now raise the right arm up and spread your wings. Imagine stretching the arms like one straight line. Shoulder blades, draw them down your back ribs, especially the left shoulder here. Sometimes it want to come along for the ride and start to become an earring. So relax that left shoulder, and instead of twisting at your shoulder girdle, continue to twist at your waistline for another 2 or 3 breaths. So this posture is a variation of a pose called twisting side angle pose, or in Sanskrit, parita, which means twisting, Parshvakonasana. 1 more breath. As you exhale, take the second block and use your 2 blocks at whatever height you need to frame your right ankle with. And let's straighten the right leg. Draw the thigh bone of your right leg back into the hip socket as you're lifting the ball of your right foot. Flex the foot. Press the big toe mound forward so that you're engaging the front muscle of your right thigh, which is your quadricep. That will help to support the back muscle of your right thigh, which is your hamstring. Draw your chest forward, release the shoulders back, breathing in. And as you're folding from the hips, remember, not folding from the neck, imagine the apple. Engage your belly slightly. This will help to support your lower back. Inhale, lengthen the spine right where you are, and exhale, if available, continue to fold. You might be adjusting the height of your blocks or walking the hands further forward. Let's tune into 2 more breaths. This is half split, or in Sanskrit, Ardha, which means half, Hanumanasana. Now begin to drag your right foot behind you, place your hands and knees on the floor, and come back to downward facing dog, pausing for 3 deep breaths. Just notice what you're feeling in your body here. Bring your feet together to touch in downward dog. Inhale, raise the left leg back. As you exhale, bend the left knee and turn out your left thigh at the hip. Stay there as you inhale, tack your right outer hip back. Then exhale, softly step your left foot forward between your hands, right at the middle. Spin the right heel down and align the middle of your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Pressing your feet down, inhale, cartwheel your arms apart to rise up, entering warrior 2. Now, as you're bending the left knee right on top of your left ankle, but not in front of it, counterbalance your weight by pressing the outer edge of your right foot just as much into the floor as the front foot. Rotate your left glute and outer hip slightly under your body enough so that you can see that the middle of your left kneecap is pointing out towards your left pinky toe. But to help balance out your pelvis, also press the top of your right thigh bone back. Invite your spine to center between your hands as you open them apart, as you relax the shoulders down. Then land your eyes on one focal point just past your left hand, listening to 3 deep breaths. Warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2. Now land your hands to frame your left ankle, lower your right knee to the floor, and step the left foot to the left another 3 to 5 inches until your legs are hips width apart. Kneeling lunge. Place a block just to the right of your front ankle and press your hands onto the top of your left thigh as you rise up. Now making sure that your right hip is directly above your right knee and your left knee is directly above your left ankle. Now isometrically drag your legs towards each other and lift your pelvic floor, activating the muscles to stabilize your alignment. Raise your arms overhead, but relax the shoulders down. With your left hand, take hold of your right wrist and lengthen the spine as you breathe in. Keep your legs solidly still and exhale, begin to side bend to the left. Pause where you are and inhale, lift the spine from the pelvis a little bit more. Exhale, if available, continue to side bend. Keep going for 3 more breaths. Engage your belly inward and inhale to rise up. Now let's prepare to twist. Use your left hand to cup the top of your left thigh. So as you press that down, you're helping to rebalance the height of your hips and root down this left leg solidly still. Raise the right arm and inhale, stretch your spine forward to trace the midline of your mat. While keeping the pelvis still right across your waistline, exhale, twist to the left. Lower your right hand directly under your right shoulder on a block or the floor. Inhale, lengthen through the top of your head towards the front wall. Peel the shoulders back. And again, across your waistline, continue to twist. Then when you're ready, raise the left arm up and spread your wings. Draw both shoulders, especially this right shoulder, away from your neck. Variation of twisting side angle pose, or Parita Parshvakonasana. Last 2 breaths. As you exhale, place the left hand on the other block to the left side of your left ankle and adjust the height of your block so that we can enter that forward fold called half split. So lift the ball of your left foot flexed. Plug your left thigh bone back into the hip socket so that you can begin straightening the left leg. Press the big toe mound of your left foot forward as you engage your left quadriceps, supporting the hamstring. As you breathe in, draw your chest forward, relaxing the shoulders back. As you breathe out, hinge from your hips just a little bit, breath by breath. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. 3 more breaths. Ardha Hanumanasana. We're going to exit differently this time. So bend your left knee, set your left foot down, and slide your right leg in front of you. Come down to sit. Let's use one of our blocks, and by the skinniest width, hug it firmly between your knees and thighs. We're going to prepare for 2 rounds of a back bend called bridge pose, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, and we'll take it into 1 more spinal twist lying down. So have your feet apart, as wide apart as your knees, hugging the block. Parallel your feet to each other and spread your toes. Firm down through the inner and the outer edges of your feet equally. And then come down to your back. Bring your arms down by your sides really close and ground the backs of your shoulders as you tilt your chin away from your chest slightly to open your throat. Slide your feet towards you until you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite, just almost. Again, press down to the inner and outer edges of your feet evenly as you hug the block. When you're ready, inhale, lift your pelvis slowly and stretch the fronts of your thighs forward. Stay for another 5 to 7 breaths, your count. When you're ready to come down from bridge, use an exhalation to slowly lower your back, then your hips. Walking your upper arms closer together under your back ribs. Keep your arms straight. If your hands touch, then maybe interlace the fingers. Press down also with the outer sides of your upper arms. While lifting your chest, continue to tilt your chin back. So this posture opens your front body like the abdomen, the front of your hips, the front of your shoulders, the front of your thighs. Also helps to get in deeper breaths, so focus on that. When you eventually lower your spine and pelvis, keep the block between your knees and thighs and just rest your pelvis on the floor for 3 breaths. Be still and notice how your body is responding right now. To what sensations? Listen to the sound of your Ujjayi pranayama, your victorious breathing. Let's get ready for the last bridge pose. Bring the arms in really close, ground your shoulders and feet, tilt the chin back, then inhale, lift your hips and stretch the fronts of your thighs forward. Walk the upper arms closer together under your back ribs. Maybe clasp the fingers. Now, as you're stretching your thighs forward, keep your feet still, don't move them, but isometrically drag them back. So let it energetically feel as if you're dragging the heels back. As you're hugging the block, spin your inner thighs slightly downward. Then continue to stretch your thighs forward. Deep breaths. Those actions were meant to stabilize and open up the lower back and the hip flexors a little bit more. When you're ready to exhale, to slowly lower your back and your pelvis. And this time, let's put the block aside. Bending your right knee into your chest, slide your left leg forward on the ground. Now preparing for a supine spinal twist. Slide your pelvis another 3 to 5 inches towards the right edge of your mat. Open your right arm wide on the floor to rest. Gazing towards the right shoulder, make sure it stays on the ground. With your left hand holding your right knee or shin, begin to twist to your left side. Only as far as your right shoulder stays on the ground. Inhaling Exhaling. Just a few more breaths. Now, if you're needing a deeper sensation of release in the lower back, place your left hand on your right outer hip. And as you breathe out, gently press it away so that it tilts slightly towards the front edge of your mat. One more deep breath. Rolling onto your back, recenter your pelvis on the mat. Relax both arms, deep breath. Now bend your left knee into your chest and slide your pelvis 3 to 5 inches towards the left edge of your mat. Open your left arm wide on the floor, grounding that shoulder, maybe gaze past it. Begin to twist to your right side, crossing the left leg over you. Remember to only go as far as your left shoulder can stay grounded. And if you're needing a little more oomph in the twist, place your right palm on your left outer hip. As you exhale, gently press it away towards the front edge of your mat. When you're ready, unwind your spine, draw your bent knees together into your chest, maybe rocking side to side or circling the thighs together and apart. How's your breath now? Can you still hear it? Let's come into happy baby pose. Bend the knees to the outsides of your shoulders, lift the soles of your feet towards the sky, and bring the arms between your thighs, crossing your forearms in front of your shins to hold your ankles or your outer feet. Now ground your tailbone, your shoulders, and your head. While splaying your feet apart, keep them parallel to each other. Draw your knees towards the ground outside of your shoulders. A few more deep breaths. Bring your hands to your outer thighs to close your knees together and either roll to one side or rock forward up to sit. Now let's come back to that seated forward fold we practiced towards the beginning. Notice if it might feel any different this time. Take your strap, maybe sit up on a folded blanket if that helps you to sit up taller. Place the strap around the balls of your feet and separate your feet hips width apart. As you spread your toes towards you, press forward through the big toe mounds of your feet. Give yourself enough slack to roll the shoulders back and down, and then root your sitting bones while you inhale, lengthen your spine up. Imagine holding that little apple between chin and chest so that as you exhale, you're hinging from the hips. Pause as you inhale to root the pelvis down and continue to lengthen your spine. Exhale to fold a little more. A few more breaths like that. This pose is called Paschimottanasana, or seated forward fold. Pressing your pelvis down, breathe in to slowly rise up. So find a way to sit tall and relaxed. You might sit on your calves, you might sit cross-legged. We're going to practice a breathing technique that is rebalancing for the left and right hemispheres of the brain, for the active solar side, and the yin or cooling, more still, introspective yin side, lunar side. So those aspects, which are often called divine masculine and divine feminine, or Shiva and Shakti, that are within all of us, bringing them into a balanced state through this breathing technique called alternate nostril breathing. So we're going to practice 3 times together and then 2 times on your own. Resting your left hand on your lap, maybe bring the thumb and first finger to touch, palm face down. If you want to invite more groundedness, palm face up. If you want to invite more elevated consciousness, more contact with your intuitive energy. Place your right hand in Vishnu Mudra, where you stick out the thumb, pinky, and ring finger, and continue to breathe with your lips closed. Now, this time, let the breath not be audible. Still sustain it. So you're breathing very slowly, but also very gently. So we're making it very subtle, which requires us to pay more attention. This helps to prepare us for meditation. So we're going to close the right nostril with the right thumb like this, and close the left nostril with the right ring and pinky fingers like this. Alternate nostril breathing, all through the nose. So as you're practicing, you might close your eyes and visualize where you're breathing in and out from, or just steady your gaze on one spot in your body, like your third eye chakra. So let's prepare to begin. 3 cycles together, 2 cycles on your own, by exhaling this breath out. Hold it out. Right thumb close right nostril. Inhale slowly through left. Hold the breath. Close left nostril. Exhale gently through right. Hold it out. Inhale through right. Hold it in. Close right. Exhale through left. Hold it out. Second cycle, inhale through left. Hold. Close left. Exhale through right. Hold. Inhale through right. Hold. Close right. Exhale through left. Hold. Third cycle, inhale through left. Hold. Close left. Exhale through right. Hold. Inhale through right. Hold. Close right. Exhale through left. Hold. Continue 2 more cycles on your own. And when you finish, take your time finishing. Release both hands and breathe naturally. Notice how you're feeling. And very gently begin to lower your body to the ground, where you can lie down and rest in stillness. Close your eyes, splay out your arms and legs, maybe turn the palms face up to relax the shoulders. And continue to let the breath flow naturally. Turn your attention inward. Shavasana. Now, as you let your body rest in stillness a little longer, with your eyes still closed, scan your attention throughout your body. Notice how your neck and shoulders feel. Notice how your hands feel. And keep going. Then gently begin to rub your thumbs across your fingertips, a very small movement. Start to wiggle your toes too. And just like that, little by little, begin to wake up your body with soft movement. Easy stretch. Keeping your eyes still closed to help you pay attention inward. Begin to roll over onto your right side, resting your head on your arm. Pause there. And now bring your attention to the breath. Just let it be. As you sense the feeling of the breath, notice the way you feel energetically. And press your hands into the ground. Let your head be heavy as you slowly rise up into a comfortable way to sit for 2 minutes in meditation. Make sure that you're able to sit tall and your pelvis feels evenly grounded and your whole body is relaxed. And you might use the same mudra you practiced on the left hand of our breathing technique. Thumb and index fingers touching, palms face down or palms face up. Choose to close your eyes or steady a soft gaze on one thing at eye level that's not distracting. And so we begin by resting your attention on the feeling of the breath, something that is very subtle and natural. And if your attention moves away from the breath, as soon as you notice that, bring it back to the breath. This is part of focusing, which is preliminary to meditating. Be curious about the breath, helping to focus on it as relaxed as you can. And now notice the way you feel mentally, the way you feel emotionally. As we bring this practice to a close, you might join your hands in prayer, a gesture of gratitude, offering gratitude for anything in this moment that you appreciate. And so from there, remember what your intention was, your sankalpa for this practice. Reimagine to whom you dedicated this intention, this practice today. And envision them receiving some sort of benefit. And together, let's close by chanting Om 3 times. Inhale deeply. Bowing in towards your heart center, acknowledging the light or the wisdom that resides within. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.